All right. This is the dynamic duo that we have in guest speakers. They've been here before. They will continue to come back as long as they will accept the invitation. Kathryne Buckley and Scott Fults from the RoughRiders. When it comes to being real, this is as real as you're going to get when it comes to a presentation about what careers you are looking for. Scott was Davenport with a BBA in business and sports management. Kathryne was A&M with sports management.
And business.
And business, again, combination. So when it comes to someone being as close to a peer, and Avi will be the same when he goes, in terms of age-wise, they are as close to your age and being out of school and working in industry for a few years that you will find. And they know what they're talking about. So if you've seen them at work at the ballpark, you'll see them working. You won't see them watching. So, Kathryne, Scott, welcome.
Thank you. And thank you all for having us. We always enjoy coming to talk to classes, so we appreciate the invitation again this year. This will kind of give you an overview of what we're going to talk about. We'll go through our backgrounds, the Frisco RoughRiders background, our roles, what a typical day looks like, fun things that we like about our job and why we go to work every day. We'll talk about why we do what we do. We'll give you some advice, and then we have questions at the end. But if there's anything you have a question on throughout our presentation, just feel free to stop us. We don't mind. We're very informal in that sense, okay? So I'll start off. I grew up here in Texas, just south of the Metroplex in Midlothian. And so I went to Midlothian ISD, and from there went on to Texas A&M. I actually had the opportunity to run for Texas A&M in my freshman year, and then I had a season-ending injury, and so after that, then I just started working in the athletic department there. So I've got lots of experience at the collegiate level with different sports, football, men's golf, men and women's basketball, so just lots of different things that gave me a variety to gain that knowledge and experience within the sports industry. I did major in sport management, and at Texas A&M we get a minor in business administration also, so that is kind of my educational background there. As far as my resume goes throughout college, like I mentioned, not only did I work with the sports teams, but I also worked at Traditions Club, which is a private country club down in Bryan, just outside College Station there, and had the opportunity to work for the men's golf team while out at Traditions Club, so it kind of doubled working, for the country club plus the men's golf team there. It was really cool because in 2009 they won the men's national championship for the NCAA, so I got to be part of a national championship team, which is really cool. And then again, just different departments within the athletic department, or different sports within the athletic department. I then went on to work for Midlothian ISD, where I was the athletic programs assistant. So I handled all of our day-to-day operations and was the right-hand person to our athletic director. I got to schedule our game day workers, make sure all of our athletic events ran smoothly. So different experience for me going from the collegiate to the high school and middle school level, but definitely a lot of fun, and got to build a lot of relationships, meet a lot of different students who are going on to do really neat things now. So I spent 4 years with Midlothian ISD, and then I moved on to Frisco, and I have been with Frisco since 2015, full-time, and started out there as the partner and event services coordinator, and about 8 months later I was promoted to director of partner services, so I'll touch on that here in a little bit as well.
My background, I'm actually originally from Michigan. I went to a small school up there, Davenport University. It's in the process of going NCAA right now, but when I was there it was an NAIA school. I had a bachelor's of business administration degree with a sports management emphasis, basically just an intertwining of the business program and the sports management program. I typically just round that up to a sports management degree. Experience-wise, I kind of got my start in sports while at Davenport. In a beneficial manner for the students, our athletic department staff was really small. We had an athletic director and an assistant athletic director, and that was it for full-time staff. Everything else was made up out of student employment, and so I had a really good opportunity there to be a building manager, and what that meant was that I was running the athletic facilities and campus recreation facilities while in college. And absolutely that, I came down to Frisco, got my start with the team as an operations intern to try and finish up my school curriculum. Was hired on full-time at the end of that to partner in an event services coordinator role, and then in April of 2015 was moved into the operations manager role that I have now.
So as we mentioned, our roles within the organization, we both report to our Chief Operating Officer, Scott Burchett, who realistically runs our entire organization. And as the Director of Partner Services, I handle a good majority of our corporate accounts. So our president sells our sponsorships, and then he passes along to our partner services team the contracts. And so with fulfilling those, there's different elements within a contract, and we make sure that each of those elements gets fulfilled. That's not only during the season, but in the off season as well. So whatever is written into a contract, then our team each individually has different corporate partners that we work with, and we make sure that all of that gets fulfilled. On that same note, I also work with our suite holders. So if for those of you who've been out to the ballpark, our second level is suites, and we'll sell suite contracts. And so I make sure that each one of those gets fulfilled. That could be anything from a 10-game suite contract all the way up to a 70-game suite contract, which would be the entire season. I also handle all of our ownership requests. So whenever, which we'll touch on here in a few minutes, when our team was sold to Chuck Greenberg and Scott Sanju, they had developed a group of local investors to purchase the Frisco RoughRiders. And so altogether we have 24 people who own our team, and whenever they want to come out to the game, some of them have a lot of involvement to where they want to come out to all 70 games, and some of them only want to come out once a season just to check on their investment and see how things are going. So that all runs through me, and they'll contact me day or night. And they all have my cell phone number, so sometimes you'll get text messages 15 minutes right before the game, and they want to come, and so somehow you have to make it happen and get them a ticket and get it to the front desk so that they can come in to enter the game. And then I also handle all of our events that we run at Dr. Pepper Ballpark with Scott. We make a good team to make it all happen. So he handles and he runs game day, and then during the off season and throughout whenever our stadium is not being used for a game, we have events going on. We'll touch on a lot of those here in a little bit as well. But we plan and execute those events. So even whenever you're looking at 365 days out of the year, and we have 70 home games, our stadium would sit empty all the other days, so we have to look at ways to maximize revenue there. That's where we'll touch on events.
I also, as the chart says, report directly to Scott Burchett. My main responsibilities include ballpark and facility operations. I have a few less bullet points there, but that's kind of because they're all encompassing. Pretty much everything that goes on in that ballpark funnels through me in one way or another. Oversee all facility maintenance and management, whether that's predictive or preventative or reactive maintenance, scheduling with our cleaning services, working with food and beverage, etc. I also have a staff that works under me and guide their day-to-day affairs. As Kathryne mentioned, manage game day operations as well. I schedule and supervise our game day staff, which is about 85 people during the season. Our ushers, ticket takers, ballpark security, and then do a little bit of IT work, all sorts of different things that I never really thought I would develop skills for, but the job requires it, so you adapt and take those skill sets on. As Kathryne mentioned, we both have a very strong part in events and meetings throughout the season as well. Just to touch on that again, basically after our 70 home games, we have 295 days out of the year where that ballpark would sit empty. It's a money drain between utilities, maintenance, etc. I spend a tremendous amount of money keeping that thing up and running. And so we also have to generate revenue to offset that. And so the more people we can get in there on non-game days, the better off we are, whether that's a meeting in one of the suites, a dinner party in one of the clubs, or somebody renting out the ballpark for a whole event. Just another opportunity for a baseball team to kind of diversify and maximize the resources available.
I missed a slide there.
It didn't pop up.
Should be some text there as well.
There you go.
It is.
There we go. I think it's back. I think it went up backwards for some reason. It's okay. Got it.
A little background on the Frisco RoughRiders as a whole. The team started in 2003. Prior to that, they were a AA team over in Shreveport, Louisiana. We are the AA affiliate of the Texas Rangers, and we play at Dr. Pepper Ballpark. When the stadium opened in 2003, it was named the best new ballpark in America by BaseballParks.com. We participate in the 8-team Texas League with a North and South division. Other teams include Corpus, Midland, San Antonio, Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas, Springfield, and Tulsa. We took the RoughRiders name from the unit that was led by Theodore Roosevelt in the Spanish-American War. We wanted to kind of have a tie-in with the Texas Rangers there. Where that association comes from is a lot of the RoughRiders that were led by Theodore Roosevelt were former Texas Rangers, the law enforcement / military branch. And so when they became the RoughRiders, we kind of saw that association on the vice versa end, where our RoughRiders are becoming Rangers as they continue their baseball careers. So there's a little natural tie-in there for us. In terms of those RoughRiders becoming Rangers, we've had over 140 players now move on to Major League Baseball. You see some of the bigger names there. And then, you know, you've had guys recently like Nomar Mazara go up and turn in almost Rookie of the Year caliber seasons. Just phenomenal to watch him. Rudy, of course, as well, turning in tremendous years. It's really enjoyable to get to watch them play, get to know them a little bit here at this level, and then watch them advance in their careers. For the first 12 seasons, the team was owned by Mandalay Baseball Properties. They had a handful of teams across minor league baseball. It was a somewhat cookie-cutter approach to ownership. We basically did the same things their other teams did. Very minor league baseball-esque, family-friendly atmosphere. If you went to a game in Dayton and saw the Dragons play and you came to a Frisco RoughRiders game, you probably weren't going to know there was a difference at all outside of the logos of the teams, really. That changed in the end of the 2014 season. The ownership group that Kathryne mentioned, led by Chuck Greenberg and Scott Sondry, purchased the team under the name of Frisco RoughRiders LP. And from there, really kind of revitalized the team. We put in $6 million into the ballpark in 2015, updated the sound system, the outfield LED video boards, replaced our Rider Vision, as we call it, which is the large video board out in left center field. It was just a box out there that had some capabilities. It's 7 times larger now. It's the biggest video board in minor league baseball. It's absolutely phenomenal to watch things on. Moved a few concession stands around, moved a few clubs around, kind of rearranged the ballpark as a whole, made it more user-friendly and accessible, put a team store in a more centralized location and made that open year-round. Again, an opportunity there to maximize revenues, and installed our state fairway as well. Around that same time, we also went through a rebrand. You'd see that here. This was the logo for the first 12 seasons of Frisco RoughRiders baseball. And then we went down to this here with kind of more featuring Teddy Roosevelt, tying in a little bit of Texas heritage. We have the red, blue, and cream color scheme now. Everything's kind of more built around that RoughRiders brand that we originally went for, tying that back in to the franchise. And then, of course, this past off-season, prior to the 2016 season, we added the Choctaw Lazy River. It was a little over $1 million worth of construction to add 86,000 gallons of water out there in right field. If you haven't seen it yet, it's absolutely incredible. It's the only lazy river in all of professional sports. We could fit about 250 people out there floating around watching the game. it's an experience basically unlike any other. And we'll have a couple pictures here. We can check it out on the website a little bit as well, and cover that in more detail.
So there in the bottom is a picture of our lazy river, and we opened it up halfway through the season this year in June. It was actually open right before we host one event every year called the Dirk Nowinski Heroes Celebrity Game. So Dirk and all his friends come out, and Dirk was actually the first one in the lazy river the day before with Media Day, and then we opened it for his event that next day. So again, like Scott mentioned, that 250 people can go and float and watch baseball games, and so we have home runs out there. It's again a lot of fun, a good way to watch a baseball game, especially in the Texas heat. We have it as a group area for 6 days out of the week. On Thursday night, it is a single game ticket, and so people can purchase that. We also had a 6-game pass because we had 6 Thursdays left in the season, so we kind of market it different ways for our sales team to be able to sell there. And then a couple different accolades that we've had, most notably our last 2 in the 2015 and 2016 season. As we mentioned, we put a lot of money back into the ballpark, and so we are actually recognized nationally for that with renovation awards in both 2015 and 2016.
One thing to know on this slide as well, you see at the top there, in 2004 we won the Texas League Championship. That's the only championship the Frisco RoughRiders have won. We've had 14 seasons of baseball now, is that right? Mm-hmm. 14 seasons of baseball now. What you see there, 2007, Organization of the Year and the Texas League Team of the Year in 2005 and 2010. Those are awards that are built around business models and basically off the field recognitions. And those are things that from a business standpoint, you really kind of hang your hat on. In minor league baseball, we can't control the product that's on the field. The Texas Rangers do that for us. They assign us the players. Fortunately, over the years, they've had a strong farm system, so we've seen some really good players, but that doesn't always translate to wins and losses on the field. Past 2 seasons, we've had probably the best teams in terms of name value. We've had 5 or 6 top 10 prospects every year, but the teams have actually been awful. We've had losing records both years. It's been dreadful to watch in terms of baseball quality, but we don't see a dip in our attendance because of that like a major league team would. What it's really about is giving people an entertainment value package that centers around baseball, but also caters to any audience that might be at the game that night. It's really less focus on baseball and more focus on providing that family fun, entertainment. You can bring your business group out, you can bring your company out, you can bring a church group out, you can bring your family out, and everybody in that realm is going to have a good time whether they're a baseball fan or not.
So what does a typical day for us look like? Well, every day is a new day. So that can kind of, for us, we really enjoy it because we don't like to see the same thing over and over, but it also can make things a little bit difficult because you can have a to-do list of what you want to do going in. And this happens to Scott a lot more than me, but our network could go down that morning on his drive-in, and so before he ever makes it to work, then he has 700 emails. That's not really an understatement because everyone thinks they need to email him 7 times to tell him. And then they'll call or text as well. So that kind of, can throw off anything that you had. You're like, okay, well, I'm going to go in and sit in the office and answer these 5 emails that I got, and then I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and then you don't get to do any of that until maybe 2 o'clock in the afternoon once you get everything up and running. So again, it can make it intriguing because you just don't know what your day is going to be like, but then it can also make getting anything done a little bit difficult.
It can be a little bit stressful at times. Kathryne's not necessarily exaggerating. She might be a little bit on the 700 number, but that is reality, especially in a facility management role. My job really is a 24-hour-a-day job. I have security guards that are there at night. If they need something, they're calling me. I have